Hey guys, it's Josh over at J&H. So I wanted to go live tonight. We're going to talk about some new products from Daiwa, some hot new products from Daiwa. But first, I wanted to say that we've got Daiwa Day in the store actually coming up. So next weekend, next Saturday, April 14th, is Daiwa Day. The guys from Daiwa are going to be in the shop along with John Skinner. So if you're a fan of John Skinner, you should come to the shop, come to J&H, meet John. He's going to answer all your questions. This is not a seminar setting or any of that kind of stuff. It's just John's hanging out in the shop all day. People are just going to come up to him, answer questions. We've done this before. People love it because it's just your opportunity to really interact with him, ask him all your questions about fluking and blackfishing and surf fishing and all that kind of stuff. And then with the Daiwa guys, we're going to be having sales, 5 cent J braid. We're going to be doing giveaways, giving away a BG combo and a couple other things. And you're going to get to see all the new Daiwa stuff if you haven't seen it yet. Maybe you've been shut in for the winter and you haven't had a chance to check out all the new stuff. So with that said, let's get into it. And the main event is this reel right here, which is the brand new Daiwa Exist LT, just released in May or coming in May, and then also the Daiwa Ryoga Baitcasting reel, which is Daiwa's new flagship baitcasting reel for freshwater and for sort of inshore saltwater. So let's get into the story of these two reels a little bit. I went down to Bassmaster Classic a little while ago. It was the last month, and they had both of these reels there for the first time. So I'd seen them before. I'd known about them at the I think it's the Yokohama show in Japan is when these things sort of dropped, and especially the Exist, because the Exist is, I mean they're both Daiwa's flagship reels in these categories. But the Exist is going up against the Stella. So really, when it comes to inshore reels or freshwater reels, however you want to categorize that high-end spinning reel, the Stella, you really didn't have much competition in terms of being considered the world's best or the highest end, at least here in America. So the Exist is its main challenger now, and I know at that show, from everything I heard, was that the Exist actually got more buzz than the Stella, which is, a bit amazing just because the Stella is that reel that's looked forward to all the time. People are so into it. They're huge Stella fans, and it's got such a following that a new version comes out at the same show as the Daiwa reel, and the Daiwa reel kind of gets more of the conversation or buzz. So I know what people are going to ask is it a better reel than the Stella? And that's something we'll find out. You gotta fish it. It's got to be fished by a bunch of people. We've got to get input from a bunch of anglers to really figure out which one is better. But I don't think it really matters. What matters most is that now instead of one great option, people have two great options, because people don't exactly think in terms of what's better, especially when things are close. They think more of, I'm a Shimano guy, I love Shimano, so I'm going to buy a Shimano. I'm a Daiwa guy, I'm going to fish Daiwa. And then some guys are like, I don't want either of those, I'm going to stick with my pen from a million years ago, and that's fine too. So, but what I like most about it is that it puts more pressure on Shimano to do better. And the Stella is great. The Exist is great. I don't think you'd be going wrong getting either one of them. But I will say that the Exist LT feels better than the Stella. It feels, more refined, and it's smoother. It's one of those reels. It's kind of like the when we got in the other Daiwa, the with the Monocoque body. What was it called? It was the Bay Jigger. So we got the Bay Jigger and we said, wow, this is magic. You turn the handle on the Bay Jigger and you're like, wow, this is just amazing. The feeling on this thing, it's just so powerful and all that kind of stuff. So this we got the same feeling from, because basically what it is, or what it seems to be, is the light and tough version of the Bay Jigger. So the Bay Jigger is a much bigger reel, even though it's also 4,000 size. It's sort of like comparing, a BG 4000 to one of these newer size LT models, and Daiwa really stepped up their game this year, meaning starting in ICAST 2017 until now, and I'm sure it's going to keep going forward. When they sort of revamped things and they came out with that LT series, and it went all the way from like a $79 reel all the way up to a $250 reel, and that whole architecture, forget about which one of those you like best or how it ranks. That LT architecture really sets them up in a great way, because now they're sort of on a level playing field with all these other manufacturers that are doing um, super lightweight, powerful reels, and they have a platform where they can build different price points for different customers. Maybe you're an $80 customer, or maybe you're a $200 customer. Um, Everybody is different. Everybody wants different things out of their fishing tackle. Everybody wants to spend different amounts of money, and that's totally cool. So now they have a high end in that series. Um, so now you can get a reel that's super lightweight, really smooth, fun to fish. This is the 4,000 size. It's not a, again, it's a high end reel. This is an $850 reel. Um, but I don't think anybody who's going to pick this up and play with it is going to say like, oh, that's overpriced, or I can't believe they're charging that much. It's just what it is. You know what I mean? It is the pinnacle of their technology at this point in time. And I think if you came into J&H and and I handed this to you, and you just turn the handle on this thing and you play with it for literally 3 seconds, when you pick it up and you go, oh my god, this is so light, it's ridiculous. How did they do that? And sort of you get that magical feeling that you got with the Bay Jigger, and it's just an impressive piece of technology. And I really think it's going to give Shimano a run for its money. We're still going to sell a ton of Stellas. Stella's still going to be super popular. It's fantastic. The new FJ is a fantastic, fantastic reel. But this gives you a second option that you didn't have before, and sort of starts to let people know that, not everything is about what you want in terms of price and all that kind of stuff. There's always going to be stuff that's too expensive for you, and there's always going to be stuff that you think is low-end garbage. Everybody has their own opinion. But to have this in the market is great, because the technology from this will trickle down over the next 2 or 3 years, and you're going to start seeing features from this reel in maybe the $300 reels, the $200 reels, and so on, sort of like you did with MagSeal. So MagSeal started with all the high-end $800, $1,000 reels, and now it's in a $100 reel in the Fuego. So the main thing on this is the Monocoque body design, which means that this is actually a one-piece body. There's no screws on the side plate. You can see it there either. No screws there. And this design just allows them to put a bigger gear in here, and makes it more stable and lighter at the same time. So you get a lot of the things, a lot of the things we talk about with Shimano. How Shimano gives names to all of their features, Hagane body and Micro Module 2 gearing and all this kind of stuff, and they sort of brand things that way. Daiwa's basically doing the same thing in terms of technology. They're just maybe not branding it as well, or doing as good a job marketing it, or maybe they just don't have that fervent decades-long following that Shimano does, which is fine. But this product, I would put this product right up there with the Stella. Like if you came into the store and you said, should I get this or should I get the Stella? I'd say it's a pick 'em. Guys are going to fish this, guys are going to fish the FJ, and we're going to get real feedback as to which is better or which one people like better. But I think in the end, this is good for everybody. The technology is going to trickle down over the years, and everybody's going to have a lot of fun fishing. Smooth bail trip on this thing. Of course, I hit it in the dead spot when I'm trying to do it on video. But smooth bail trip on there. And check out this handle. I don't know if you can see this aluminum handle. See how thin that actually is? It's got the cutout in the middle. I don't know if you can see the line there. But even being this thin, they were able to remove this amount of material, and it's still, just as strong as any other handle. The knob is their high grip knob, and you can see, I don't know if you could tell from this, but it's actually also on the Stella. If you look at this knob, this T-knob, you could see that it actually, let's see if you can see, it actually comes up. So it's actually thinner here, and then it gets taller here. And what that is it gives you a really great feel when you've got this in your hand. It's not like fishing a traditional T-bar that's thin and sort of delicate feeling, and you do this or that. This you can get really good grip on, and if you hook into some big inshore fish, redfish, that kind of stuff, or big striped bass, you're going to excel with this thing. So there's a whole series that go from the 1,000 all the way up to the 4,000, and there's I think 2-3,000s in there. You can pick 2 different gear ratios, but if you are in J&H or maybe your local tackle shop in May, definitely just play with this, even if it's not something you're gonna buy. You know, even if it's just like I'll never spend $850 on a fishing reel. That doesn't matter to me. That's not my concern. My concern is that you feel this reel, you play with this reel, you put it in your hands, so that in a couple of years you'll know where the technology came from, and what you should be looking for as the future progresses. In because I'm telling you, this stuff is going to trickle down to $200 reels and so on and so forth. It just has to, because it's that good, and it's just the future of things. So definitely definitely do that. Again, they're going to be released in May, and they range from, I think, maybe it's 650 all the way up to 850. I don't remember off the top of my head the exact pricing of this thing. Let's see here. I think it's 800 to 850, so 799 to 849. But it's just a class above most fishing reels that you get to play with. So definitely check it out, whether it's a J&H or your local tackle shop or whoever. I mean, you can also pre-order them now. They're up on jnh.com. I think that if it's something interesting, you should jump on it. I don't know how many they are actually bringing into the country. They're made in Japan, but it's just a really cool freshwater or inshore reel. It's got mag seal in there, 13 ball bearings. You know, it's this 4000 weighs 7.2 ounces. It's super lightweight, and it's going to hold about 300 yards of 15-pound test braid. But you got to look at the whole series, you know, depending on what you want to do. But it's very, very cool. The second reel we'll take a look at is the Ryoga bait casting reel. And you know, before I talk about this one, I just want to say thank you to Daiwa on a personal level. Thank you to Daiwa for trusting me, sending these to me. They didn't have to do this. They didn't have to go and send me one of the only reels in the country for both of these. But they trusted me to do it because they knew I was going to do videos on it, and they know who I am and what my company represents. And I really appreciate that, because sometimes for us, just, you know, it's just, I've been talking to these manufacturers, and I've just been saying, listen, get me this product. I'm going to do videos on it. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to tell people why it's great. And then I'm going to send it back to you. I don't want to keep this stuff. I just want to get the information out there. So really kudos to Daiwa. And I know it wasn't just a matter of them saying, okay, you can send it. Like, they had to get permission and all this kind of stuff. So I really appreciate that. So that being said, let's go into the Ryoga. So this is the new bait casting reel from Daiwa. And again, this is their flagship reel in the United States for this style of reel. Lightweight, super powerful, super smooth. Another reel that you pick it up and you turn the handle on it and you just go, wow. You know, its design is really for freshwater guys throwing swim baits. It's that kind of reel. I think guys like who do that are going to go crazy for it. But it's also a great inshore reel, you know. It's got 13 ball bearings in there. I asked Daiwa to get a little bit more information on here because they were talking about mag seal on this, and they said, from what I'm told, you got 12 mag sealed ball bearings in this thing. So, you know, that's sort of unheard of, at least in an American version of Daiwa reels. This thing weighs 9 ounces or 9.5 ounces. It comes in 2 different sizes. I think really just spool depth that's different. They make a righty and lefty and the deeper cut one. This is the 1520H, so this is the one that would come in righty or lefty. But this is another reel that you just have to pick up. It's a $600 reel, so this is not for everybody, but from this, the technology will get down. So, but for the guys who want to have the best possible fishing experience, this is right up there, you know. So again, we're gonna have to compare it to Shimano, because they are the leader. That is where people tend to go for this kind of stuff. They go to Shimano because they know the quality and all that kind of stuff. And Conquest. So again, is this better than the Conquest? I don't know. Time will tell. We'll see. You know, this is a tested platform. They released this in the United States years ago as the Pluton. I don't know if you guys remember the Pluton. If not, go look it up. You know, it has that same sort of, I don't know if you could see it in the video, that squared gearbox. And from there, they've just been improving it and improving it and improving it. And this is the latest version of it. You got your Magzi Force cast control, and you can adjust it here. And if you can see that, you got this dial. I actually showed this to my 9-year-old daughter, and I said, "Do you see the dial? Do you see the dial?" And she goes, "Where?" And then she found it. She goes, "Oh, is that an Easter egg, Daddy?" I guess we've been watching too much Ready Player One, but it was pretty funny. Super smooth, amazing free spool, clickable drag, and you know, you can hear the drag click when you turn the handle and you put some pressure on it. But again, super high-end bait casting reel for guys who like luxury and want the best of the best. This thing is just amazingly smooth and fun. So again, this is going to be out sooner than the Exist. This is going to be out. I should have this maybe next week if Daiwa ships in a timely fashion. But I want you to come into J&H if you're local. I want you to come into J&H. And again, even if this is not your reel, if you are a surf casting guy or you're a offshore guy or whatever you are, I want you to come in and I want you to say, hey, show me this new bait caster from Daiwa. Show me the Ryoga. I want to feel this thing. I want to see what it's all about. And even if you'd never buy it in a million years, even if you're like, I'm never going to pay that much money for a bait caster reel. That's not me. That's totally cool. But you need to feel this. You need to see why people want something like this, and then make a decision for yourself down the road when the technology starts to get into the lower end reels, which it absolutely will. But this is something special. This is just a really, really well made, high end, finesse fishing bait casting reel. You want to bottom fish for fluke and that kind of stuff with this thing, you totally can. It's super smooth and just crazy good. So with that said, I just want to say thank you to you guys. I really appreciate you tuning in on a Saturday night at it's almost 11:30 now. I wanted to show you those two reels. I hope you got a good impression of them, and your love of fishing is piqued by the technology that's coming today, next month, and down the road, because we're only going to see better and better gear as these manufacturers continue to deliver, crazy, well-made, well thought out, well-planned products, and not just, a slight upgrade to what's already existing. Both of Daiwa is really, putting the pedal to the metal. Their stuff is getting better and better every day, and that's great for us because, in the past we felt like, America was just sort of and also ran to Japan and all that kind of stuff, that we were sort of second-class citizens in terms of the gear we got. It's just a different culture over there in Japan. It's, they have fishing tackle stores in malls over there. Like, imagine that in America. That would be absolutely insane. But they live the fishing lifestyle culturally. So the impression is that they do more fishing and blah, 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 and that the American market is not as sophisticated is probably not the right word, but, not as into it. And I'm here to tell Daiwa Japan that we absolutely are, and we love the new products and to keep delivering them, because I know my customers love them, and my customers are buying more and more Daiwa because it's just really good. So anyway, guys, I really appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much. If you do have questions about these two reels, you can post in the comments, or you can always email me, josh@jnh.com, or DM me on Instagram or Facebook, whatever is easier for you, or call me at the shop. But if you come into J&H, I want to see you in the shop, and I want to show you these two reels. I want you to check them out. I want you to feel them, and I want to see that, see in your eyes exactly how excited you are that, or how wowed are by just the quality and what you can get out of a fishing reel in 2018. So all right, guys, have a great night, and thank you so much for tuning in. Take it easy.